Welcome. Thanks for joining me today. This session is going to be a yin session. We're going to do one pose, but we're going to do different variations to target not only our hips in the main pose, but also to get into our shoulders, our neck, and our side waist. So hopefully this will leave you feeling a little bit more refreshed in those areas as you finish this one pose. The pose on each side is going to be held for about 5 minutes. If at any time you need to come out of it, please do, and just come and rest until we go to the next side. At the end, I'm going to leave you in savasana. If you'd like to play some of your own music, you may, but sometimes having that quietness to go inward and be able to be still with your thoughts and your mind and your body kind of feels good. So see how that feels today. So we're going to start by just settling into our space. So find a comfortable seat, prop your hips up a little bit, and then kind of drop down into those sit bones, shift around a little bit till you find your neutral spine. And then allow the eyes to close. Allowing yourself to come into the room, onto your mat, and into your body. Taking in your surroundings, and allowing those to be part of your practice, as opposed to being distractions in your practice. Just allowing yourself to be more present in this moment. Scanning of the body, checking in, acknowledging any areas that are tight, any injuries, any fatigue, but then also checking the flip side of that coin, those areas that are feeling pretty good today, areas you'd like to expand upon more, those areas in your body that are already awake and alive. Then check in mentally. Acknowledging what type of day it's been, maybe what type of week it's been. And taking a deep inhale. Sigh it out, letting that go. Allow yourself to focus on your breath and your movements while you're here on your mat today. And setting an intention of paying attention. So allowing yourself to really be attentive and aware to what's happening in your body. Anytime your mind wanders away, just bring it back to the sensations that you are going to create in your body. And can you start to bring that awareness to the tip of your nose and just notice the breath leaving and entering the nose for a few rounds of breath here. No need to change your breath. Just allow it to be normal, natural. In the yin practice, you don't have to do any of the ujjayi breath, the heating breath. You can just have nice, normal breaths, sometimes a couple deep breaths to help you get a little deeper into the sensations of the body. Just sitting with the sensations that are happening here. Maybe how the clothes feel on your body. How your body's in contact with the floor or anything underneath your seat. The awareness of the temperature in the room. And setting that intention of awareness to pay attention to the sensations in the body. And bring your hands to your heart. So you can press your palms together. Maybe take your right hand and then press your left hand on top over your heart center. We'll just set that intention with one side of the mouth. Take a full inhale. And allow those eyes to blink open. So our pose that we're going to do for our legs and our hips is shoelace pose. I recommend sitting up on something, it helps. If you have more muscular thighs, if there's a lot more flesh, then it can't get you to get that abduction, so that bringing of the legs together. Definitely sit up on something or even do half shoelace. So I like to sit up, and when I sit up on something, I like to turn it kind of at an angle. So instead of having the front edge forward, I like to turn it so the corner is forward, so that then my legs can go on either side. So it's kind of like Gomukhasana legs, right? So if we're gonna take our left leg on top first, right? So my right leg's gonna go on the bottom, left leg's gonna go on top. And then if that doesn't quite work for you, you can take the right leg out down below, right? So that's half shoelace. And if that doesn't work, maybe your knee doesn't stack over knee, totally fine, it can be out here. Be mindful of any pain that you might have in your knees, right? Any pain, any stabbing sensation, any numbness is not a good thing. So maybe you even want to maybe you can come a little bit further into the pose, maybe you prop yourself up more, maybe a block under this leg here, right? So you're just working in the sensations of the hips here in this first pose. So take this first few moments, settle in, finding your pose. My left side, I like to start with my left side. It's a little tighter. I'm just gonna settle in here. So you're gonna start to notice those sensations, maybe starting in the hips, maybe even into the low back. Just sit and pause. Hands can rest on your knees. If that's too much pressure, rest them on the floor. But in yin yoga, there's 3 principles, 3 tattvas. The first one, find your edge. So finding the edge of your pose. So you don't want to go into the deepest stretch. So you don't want to go into Gomukhasana. You don't want to fold forward. You don't want to really hold it to where maybe you're even holding your breath. So pay attention to your breath. You just want to go to that first edge to where you feel some sensation and pause. We will be getting deeper. We will be holding this for 5 minutes. So you will definitely be meeting your edge a few times today. Just linger here. Notice how the body feels. Notice how the mind feels. And then the second principle is to become still. Once you're there, can you still the body? When you still the body, the breath becomes more still. When the breath becomes more still, you can really tune into where the mind goes. And the mind will run away many times. Don't worry about that. But can you have the strength to notice that your mind has wandered and bring it back to those sensations in your body? And then the third principle is we stay for a while. Can you hold this? Can you become still in this pose for a while? So anytime you feel any stabbing or sharp pain, numbness, adjust the pose, but otherwise stay. For people that are a little bit more flexible in this pose, maybe those feet start to go more forward. That is an option for you if you'd like to go a little deeper, finding a little different edge. We've been here for a little bit. So we're going to add in getting into the upper body a little bit. So you're just going to take a little twist. So you're going to twist to the left. Take your left hand, if you can't quite reach the floor, use a block or a pillow behind you. Just kind of twist, find your edge again. You're just going to go to a point where you can feel a twist. Just pause. Maybe it feels good to grab your leg and lift the chest. Again, it's not your deepest twist. You're just finding a little bit more sensation on that left side. If you feel like maybe your knees need some assistance here, you can always prop a pillow under the bottom knee. You can prop a pillow between the knees. So you have that as an option as well. Get a couple more breaths here. Might feel a little bit of sensation along the spine. If it feels okay, maybe your neck starts to look more toward the left or even a little bit behind you. And as you twist here, can you try and relax any energetic muscle engagement? So can you relax those muscles in the legs? Good, getting into those deeper connective tissues. And then slowly come back to center. And then from here, you're going to take your left hand out to the side. You might want a block or a pillow or something there for later. And you're going to take your right arm. So there's an option for a bind here. If the bind isn't going to feel good for you, you can keep your hand on your hip, or you can take the top arm over your head eventually. So take your right arm out to the side, turn your thumb down, take the back of your hand to your low back. So you're just going to notice you have a little sensation here, right? Stay with that sensation, and then start to walk your left hand out to the side. So As you start to lean a little bit, let that right hip stay heavy. You're going to start to feel some more sensation in that right side waist. And then your head can stay looking forward. Or maybe your head turns and looks down. So it's going to get a little deeper sensation in the neck. So again, if you can press down into that hand and kind of let yourself rest in your bones here. If you want to go a little deeper, maybe you have a pillow or a block and you rest your forearm on there. But again, just finding your edge somewhere where you can still breathe naturally. Notice if you're rolling forward to release sensation. See if you can keep that top shoulder lifting. And just stay. And then breathe. In this pose, I like to turn my palm up if my forearm's resting on something. Just helps me relax a little bit. The more you turn your head down, the more of a stretch you're going to have in your neck. You can always allow that left ear to drop toward your left shoulder as well, keeping your chin neutral. Just have a couple more breaths here. Noticing those sensations in the body, becoming still. And then trying to energetically relax the muscles. Let yourself just hang out in those connective tissues, those deeper tissues. And then if your chin is down toward the floor, bring it back to neutral. Press down into that left hand, start to lift yourself up. And then slowly take an inhale, release that right arm, reach the arms out. And then as you exhale, take that right arm over the left, so eagle arm. So maybe you can't quite get the bind, right? If you can't quite get the bind, just hug your shoulders, right? So there's your first edge. For those that can, maybe backs of the hands pressed together. Maybe you try and get your palms toward one another, right? Don't worry about curling up and grabbing and holding tension. Can you just let those hands be loose? And so we're trying to find that sensation in the upper back, that stretch in the upper back. Just breathing. Maybe you start to draw your elbows toward your chest, your chin toward your chest, and let those fingers come forward if you're in full eagle, or hugging onto those shoulders as you draw in and kind of round into the low back a little bit. So you're going to now feel some sensations in the spinal area, all along the spine, down into the back, maybe even into the neck the more you drop your chin to your chest. Couple more breaths here. And slowly start to lift. Start to unwind those arms. And then you have the option to kind of just lengthen yourself forward. Right? Maybe your belly rests on your thighs, maybe your chin rests on your knee or even past your knee. Or maybe you just plant those hands, round in, and drop the head. Taking a few deep breaths here, really getting into the back of the spine, along those erector spinae muscles. And then slowly inhale, bring yourself up. And as you exhale, bring yourself back up to center. Take a moment there and then slowly unwind the top leg. Unwind the bottom leg. And then you can just sit here. You can take your legs out straight and just pause. Notice those effects in the body. If moving is more natural to you, feels a little bit better to you, go ahead and add some movements in. Maybe point and flex through the toes. Maybe do some ankle circles. Maybe even rub those knees a little bit. If you feel like you need a little bit of external rotation for your legs, maybe do some windshield wipers left and right. Just take a few more moments here. Find a little bit of stillness. Pausing there for a moment before we go to the second side. And try not to have any expectations for the second side. Each side is going to be a little bit different. We are not symmetrical in our bodies. So taking the right leg on top this time. So again, you have an option to keep that left leg out, right? If you want to do half shoelace, propping up the foot in any way. But take that left leg, draw it under if that's accessible to you today. And then use any props if you need, maybe a pillow underneath your right knee, maybe underneath your left knee. Just take this first few moments here to settle in, acknowledging the little differences in either side. Sometimes on this side, I need a little bit extra support for that top knee. And just pause there, right? Notice those sensations. Allow yourself to settle in. Notice if you're gripping in the shoulders or in the jaw, might mean you're going a little too deep. And again, for those people that have a little bit more flexibility in the hips, maybe your feet start to come forward a little bit more. Then as you reach your edge and that edge kind of disappears, going a little bit deeper, so allowing yourself to find stillness, allowing yourself to find that stillness in your edge allows for the body to open up. It allows for the muscles to relax. And then it allows for you to quiet your breath. And as you quiet your breath, your body responds to that by allowing yourself to go a little bit deeper. So everything relaxes. You can go a little bit more forward, find your edge again, relax again, stay, and then find your edge again. All right, so you're just continuing going through those three principles throughout the entire practice. So you don't want to get to that first edge like you would in a normal flow class and find that stretch and hold it for a short amount of time, which is great, builds strength and flexibility. But here we're not getting into the muscles. We want to get into those ligaments and tendons around the knees, the hips, and the ankles, into the side waist, the fascia that kind of binds our muscles and bones together. And adding on here, taking a twist, twisting to the right. So bring your right hand back behind you, lift the heart, and just find that first edge of a twist. So you might start to feel a little bit more sensation inside that right hip, maybe in the left hip. Maybe you start to feel some sensations in the upper body. And again, you have options with your gaze. Your gaze can look forward, to the side, or even toward the back. Nice deep breaths. Just always acknowledging that breath. Anytime it becomes tight or hurried, you might have gone past your edge. Again, reminding yourself of any strong sensations, any stabbing, numbness, sharp pains. Those are not good. Don't hold through those, especially in the knee area. Come out of it a little bit, adjust, use any props you need to. As you inhale, come towards center, and exhale, pause. Good, so taking that right hand, start to walk it toward the right. Left hand, you have that option of on your hip, over the top of your head, or turn that thumb down. Bring the hand to the low back. Find the sensation in that left shoulder. And then start to walk that right hand out a little bit more. So find your first edge, then pause. And maybe you have a shoulder issue on one side or the other. I didn't explain it on the first side, but maybe it's too much to bind, so that arm just stay by the side. Maybe it rests on the knee. If it's okay, maybe hand to shoulder, and then you just take that arm and then start to drop it behind you, and you can still find some stretch along that right side, or sorry, the left side. So you have that as an option if the bind behind you does not happen for you. So press down into that hand, open the chest a little bit, and pause here. Breathing, relaxing, that muscular engagement, and settle in. Maybe you start to turn your chin toward the floor, going a little bit deeper. Maybe you start to bend that forearm onto a block or a pillow, getting a little bit deeper into that left side. If looking down to the floor isn't good for you, just letting that right shoulder and ear become closer as the head drops closer to that shoulder. Again, find your edge. Notice all those sensations happening in the body. The hips, the shoulders, the neck, maybe the knees, the ankles. Just really being present in your body, noticing those sensations. And then can you become still with that? Notice if you start to fidget with every little sensation. Or can you just stay? Can you let yourself linger? If you find discomfort, discomfort's fine. Our body doesn't like it, so we do like to fidget, like to wiggle our toes or fingers, just to distract the mind. But can you literally stay with the sensation? And then again, find the edge. Become still with that edge. Notice the sensations and stay with them. And then from here, if you're looking down, bring the head up to neutral. Press down into that right hand, bring yourself up. And then slowly take that left arm out, extending out. And then this time your left arm's over the right. So again, you have the eagle bind. Maybe this side's a little tighter. So you're having your hands on your shoulders. And then pause there for a moment. Just notice those sensations in the upper back. So lift the elbows just slightly. Hugging. Can you relax the legs? Can you relax the jaw? And then start to bring your chin toward your chest. Draw those elbows down toward the chest, rounding into the spine. And if your palms are reaching forward in that eagle bound, let the fingertips drop forward, rounding into that upper back. And finding your edge and pause. And slowly bring your spine back up. Taking those arms, release them out. And then bring the hands down by the side and then just start to fold forward any little bit. Pressing into the hands. Maybe if you really want to relax the arms, you take a pillow or a block or a bolster, lay it between your thighs so then you can really relax the upper body. Become still just for a few more moments of breath here. Can you really get into the sensations of the body? Acknowledging the shoulders, the spine, the hips. Few more rounds of breath here. And slowly making your way all the way back up. Taking your time slowly, no rushing. Taking that top leg out, taking the bottom leg out, sitting up tall, point and flex through the feet a little bit, maybe some circles with your ankles, maybe rubbing the knees. Then from here, maybe bring those hands back behind you, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back, open up the front side of the body. then from here, slowly make your way down onto your back. Allow yourself to settle in for Shavasana. Propping yourself up any little way that you need, maybe cover your eyes. Allowing yourself to just lay down on your back and just notice the effects of that practice. Let yourself become still here. Noticing the sensations, noticing the body unwinding from holding those poses in the hips and in the shoulders. And place your hands over your heart again, right hand and left hand on top. Take a nice full inhale. Sigh out the mouth. Allowing yourself to become still. Allow the arms to come down by your side. Remaining here for as long as you need in Shavasana. I thank you for joining me. Thank you for taking time for yourself today. Drink lots of water, eat your veggies, and wear some sunblock. And we'll see you next time. Namaste.